Meier Silver Star Center, 26 January, 2004, 12:43 a.m. Billy. Punishment must be. In general, human beings, which are criminal or which have committed a minor or a major crime, are put in a jail, prison, or detention camp and thus are excluded from society. The same applies for single or organized terrorists if the jurisdiction seizes them. But there are also the powerful of the states, the presidents of states and dictators, which are not less degenerated, but which are killers legitimated by the state, criminals, humanity killers, terrorists and destroyers. And they are the ones who escape unmolested from every punishment, because they are protected by dubious laws and by the stupid idiotic people. Like this, they are able to impose capital punishment on other criminal offenders in a high-handed godlike manner and legally let human beings being killed, as well as to unscrupulously and irresponsibly start wars and attack other countries without being held responsible for it. Hence, they are in fact bad persons, which have to be rid of their freedom and be excluded from society for punishment. If this doesn't happen, they will go on acting as asocial, violent, and murderous, and they abuse their degenerations and their power towards the honest and the weaker. Simple criminals and delinquents have the possibility to change for the better by means of appropriate punitive measures and become worthy members of society, but in general, this is not possible with notorious violent criminals, which also include all notorious terrorists. They often are the powerful of the states, presidents of the state, commanders-in-chief and dictators, etc. And they spread infinite suffering and misery. When talking of violent criminals, one shouldn't only think of simple criminals and murderers but especially of the powerful of the world, because it is them who bring the biggest evils over human beings and let them to be slaughtered by the thousands and millions through capital punishment, wars, massacres, and secret service operations, etc. And it is the top of the mockery that these terrorists and humanity delinquents are cheered and raised to the standing of heroism by the idiots within the people. Like this, many a criminal military leader and murderous president of the state or dictator is celebrated as great fighter, conqueror and hero, although he is only a coward and loudmouth and totally fails, if he has to execute his order by himself. And such treat cons, shirkers, frightables, miserables, softies, and whiners are quickly wetting their pants, if their own skin is threatened. Their loudmouthism only exists as long as they hold and mercilessly exercise power. But they use this power to harass and kill their fellow human beings. Like this, they let others, who have done less severe crimes, murders, and criminal offenses, being executed, while they themselves are protected through the cheering madness of the people. And often it is them who are appropriating massive sums of money without ever being prosecuted or punished. And very often they use their finagled money to lead unlawful and betraying election campaigns and to take the helm of a government. But Hankrim, in contrast, a human being who steals some money or food out of mere need and despair in order to feed oneself and the family, is publicly taken into custody in handcuffs and reviled while the real criminals are lavishly praised. You can look at it however you want, but the truth is that every human being, which approves such things and machinations, is a criminal. Thus everybody, who gives one's blessing to it, had to be punished. Without question, one cannot speak of a potential crime, because an approval is an actual crime towards love, freedom, peace, and harmony of human beings. And the truth is that those who are thrown into prison are not worse in their inner self as everybody else. Indeed, they are human beings as everybody else, if they are not notorious and violent humanity criminals. They are human beings, which are just the victims of some blindness or desires, their anger and jealousy, their urge for luxury or the carrying out of their wish, an addiction or a vice, etc., all of which at the end is suffered by all human beings. who are not able to control their personality down to the last detail. Like this, one suffers more, another suffers less from these things, but everybody is in need of help. Therefore it is the duty of human beings to help each other and to treat everybody in a manner as one is due to. This means that neither a single person nor the society is allowed to unjustly judge those who have made a mistake and need to be punished. The punishment must always be humane and appropriate and must never be founded on hatred, revenge, and retaliation. Each human being, no matter what he has committed, is nevertheless a valiant human being of complete value, who is part of society and well able to change himself. And this possibility also exists if the fallible human being is totally degenerated and has to be excluded from society in a way that a jail, a prison, a detention camp, or a remote measures executive place is the only way to protect society from him. This though means that he remains a part of society and that it has the possibility of learning, of remaining a human being, and the security for body and life is guaranteed, as well as the possibility to gain true Menschsein, means to gain the status of being a true human being. It is so easy to swear about the criminals, the terrorists, the fanatics of sects, and the violent criminals, the murderers, and irresponsibles as well as the criminal and terroristic powerful of the state, to damn them to hell and to wish death and devil to their neck, to execute them and probably to torture them physically and psychologically. But they too are human beings, which have a right to life, even if they themselves have murdered one or several human beings or even have let thousands and millions being murdered through war and terror. Human beings must never be judged according to the same standard as they themselves applied. Hatred, revenge, and retaliation are never a standard for punishment for any crimes, no matter how severe and inhumane they may be, because hatred, revenge, and retaliation are as bad degenerations as the violent crimes of the fallible persons. Of course, violent criminals, murderers, terrorists, and humanity criminals of all kinds mustn't get off scot-free and thus have to be punished. But the punishment, the sentence, and the execution of the penalty must always be humane and remain humane and must never put in danger or harm the body and life of the fallible persons. With the sentence and penalty too, it has to be acted according to brotherly love and humanity. A humanitarian execution of the penalty has to be in a way that the fallible persons get a useful instruction in all matters concerning honest and just as well as reverent and dignified conduct of life and concerning the value of all life, where too, the practice of meditation has to be considered. Also, one condition must be to show the way to reach inner peace as well as inner freedom and harmony, and the way that fallible persons can free themselves from any feeling of guilt in case it appears. But the execution of the penalty also necessitates that no hatred and no unkindness is shown for the fallible persons, but love and confidence, so they are able to have a good look at these things and are also able to learn from it.